Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Live Real Talk. I remember from the last episode I promised you that we are going to meet at the same place and the same time. But I'm sorry, I could not keep my promise. And you're going to know why. I promised you that we're going to meet at the HorizonTV studios in Jamia Mosque, that is County 047, Nairobi. But guess what, guys? Again, I'm in County 032 for the second week in a row. But this time, I'm not talking about the repatriation and the closure of the refugee camps, but I am talking about the current pandemic that's ongoing globally, COVID-19 crisis. Recently, alhamdulillah, God, by His mercy, God brought the vaccine. We have the AstraZeneca vaccine that's continuing to be rolled out all over the country. Sputnik is the other vaccine that's suspected to be in the country, and the Pfizer vaccine. And Kenyans are running helter-skelter, each to get a jab to protect themselves from this deadly virus, the COVID-19. But hey, for those who are football lovers, when you hear the word Cr7 or the name Cr7, then Cristiano Ronaldo is the first person to pop up in your mind. But guess what? We're here to talk about Cr7 Immune Booster that's been developed by Professor Mohamed Abdille, right here in Nakuru County 032. Assalamu alaikum, Professor.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much for making time for us this day, Professor. You know, I'm used to having the show evening, so I'm always used to welcoming the guests. Thanks so much for making time for us this evening. But again, the sun is bright, so I can't even lie to my audience that it's at night. Welcome. So, Professor, in the introduction, I'm sorry I did not do due diligence to you and to your introduction and astute scientist who's currently head of pathology at the Egerton University, Prof?
That was a long time ago.
Long time ago?
That means that was part of my development. I founded the department.
You founded the department.
So I'm past, I'm no longer the chairman of the department. I founded the department. I chaired it.
Okay.
And then I was renewed. And then I grew up, and then I became a director.
Yes.
And then I grew, and then I became a deputy vice chancellor.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you so much for making it for us. Prof, our main interest to talk about this particular show is about Cr7 Immune Booster. Before we get into that, COVID-19 pandemic, what's your take on that? And from a professional point of view, what have you heard about COVID-19? Right, pandemic, this virus and the new variant that's currently suspected to have come from the UK and South Africa that's hitting us as the third wave. What exactly have you heard about this pandemic from a professional point of view? How can you put it in layman's language?
Well, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. COVID has become now a household name. For one or the other reasons, it has affected people globally. We are not exceptional. Under any circumstance, people know what caused COVID as coronavirus that emanated and originated from Wuhan in China, spreading within China and then later to other parts of the world, Europe and America. Mm-hmm. We all know how it has affected those countries massively. It has killed millions of people. The world leaders, health organizations joined hands in the search of remedies in the form of drugs, in the form of vaccines. Luckily or unluckily, they could not find drug, but eventually they developed a vaccine, which is again patented by various companies, AstraZeneca, the Sputnik, you name them. That was the first strain. And then later, Africa was hit. Kenya not being an exceptional. Under any circumstance, the good government of His Excellency, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and his entire government took up arms in the fight against COVID by enlightening Kenyans, telling them the truth that the best way to fight this virus is to adhere to the principles of safe distancing, using of sanitizers, restriction of movements, quarantine of people who are identified with the virus as positives, and contact tracing of the people that have got in touch with the person who is found to be positive. It has worked very well, alhamdulillah. And you can quote that. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when plague came or cholera comes, he used to say, restrict your movement. If a plague hits a town, don't get out. Don't get into that town, neither should someone get out of that town.
Good. So from where you're sitting, you are saying that the government has handled this pandemic well so far?
The government has tried its best. The government has tried its best. Because you remember the time the government completely told Kenyans, and I can remember our very good minister, Mutai Kagwe, and his team, 24/7 addressing Kenyans on television, that if you behave normal with this virus, it will...
If you treat it abnormally, right?
Now, exactly, that is how it has treated so many other countries.
Okay. Now,
But so the government has done its best.
yes.
And the government, with the support of the people, you can remember how many Kenyans have survived. And I can remember our president saying, we may lose our economy, but life is sacred and our people's lives matters. So congratulations to our government, they have done their best. But this is a pandemic that has affected the entire world in one or the other way. And Kenyans have been told to cooperate.
With the government.
But still you can quote, yes, the Kenyans have been told to cooperate with the government, but still you can be able to quote some Kenyans saying, I rather be killed by COVID than hunger. It's true. Our people, majority of them are poor. And these are people, you know, SMEs, you see, you know, small business enterprises.
Those who are eating away from...
yes, from hand to mouth.
Hand to mouth.
You know, 100 shillings, 200 shillings a day, 300 shillings.
Number of people.
And then the lockdown affected them.
Yeah.
But life matters. Life matters. And therefore, currently, what we have is not the first wave. We now have a different wave, a more dangerous, a deadlier wave. As you have seen, how it affects the people. And the rate at which it kills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Prof, tell us about Cr7 Immune Booster. Like, tell us about it first.
Well, the Cr7 Immune Booster, coincidentally, the name Cr7 came because my intention was COVID remedy. And 7, it's made up of 7 wonder herbs. So for the first time, I'm going to decode for you Cr7.
Bismillah.
Yeah. So it is a COVID remedy 7, made up of 7 wonder herbs. And these herbs are not something new. I've not discovered anything new. These are herbs, these are plants that people consume in one or the other way for their health beneficial aspects, add into food. Only that science and technology has taken it a little bit further, deeper, in isolating the more important active ingredients in those herbs by using technology, knowledge, research, and when you combine those things, and the idea behind that is very simple. The virus affects the people, but all those people that have died because of the viruses, it has caused an immune overdrive. That means it has affected the immune system. Literally, there was a battle between the virus and the person's immune system.
Okay.
So when the virus defeats the immune system, then the person dies.
Okay.
When the immune system and the virus balance each other, it may take some time, but the person will recover and the immune will win. Either way, if the person does not have medical underlying conditions. The third group, or the most important group, is that to tell you that immunity is very important in our system. All sports persons, renowned, including Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, you mentioned them, Kenyan sports loving fans.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a sports person, an athlete, who died of COVID.
A number of them were affected, including Cristiano Ronaldo.
They were affected,
He was affected.
but it was very mild.
Yes.
It was just a matter of isolation
Yes.
with some analgesics, anti-inflammatories. He's back to the field. So that means the immune system matters a lot. So scientifically, I know you ask me what really motivated you and where the idea came
We'll
from.
get to that, yes. But still, I'm still in class. I'm still following the thought process of the fight against the immune system and the virus.
Yes.
That's what you explained.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our immune system is the first line of defense against any disease, not only the virus. And they react to it immediately.
Okay.
So, regarding virus, this coronavirus, it first attaches itself to our cells. It's called nasopharyngeals. It goes down to the lungs. It will keep on fighting, but still our immune system will not let it go. So, eventually, as it affects our breathing system, the lungs, the alveolus, the bronchioles, there's an inflammation. Under the process of inflammation, our immune system will send so many missiles. So, if our immune system will be defeated, then scientifically we have to find ways in which we can be able to boost our immune system. Because immune system matters here. In the development of the vaccines, vaccines will just alert and elicit your immune system such that what caused that disease, if it comes, it will be fought viciously. Just like the measles vaccine, the polio vaccine. It's given to the children before the virus or before the causing organism or pathogen comes. So if it comes, it will be very mild because
Your immune system is
the body is already prepared.
Okay.
Under the same circumstance,
Yeah.
now Cr7 and its components,
Yeah.
its active ingredients that has taken so many years of research. It was initially meant for. All these plants are used, all these ingredients are used by different communities in different parts of the world for different purposes.
Okay. Okay.
I'll just tell you one of the ingredients. It's called Thymoquinone.
Thymoquinone. Okay.
Thymoquinone is obtained from the flowering stage of the black seed.
The normal black seed, but so that this.
Not the normal black seed, but the flowering stage. You know,
Okay.
when you know pharmacologically, when you are studying a certain active ingredient in a plant, you'll try to see whether it is much abundant and best at the roots, or the stem, or the leaves, or the seeds, or the buds. Thymoquinone, it is the best quality thymoquinone is present at the flowering stage, where the seeds have not still matured, of the plant called Nigella sativa. So when you grow Nigella sativa purposely for that, and you know Nigella sativa again, the entire plant can be eaten. It's still medicinal. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Under the same circumstance, now when you isolate thymoquinone, and I will call it black seeds, because the entire plant is called Nigella sativa, scientifically, after you isolate the thymoquinone through various processes, again even the remnants, you put 10 kilogram of the flowering buds into the machine. After 6-7 hours, you'll get something very white and powderish. That is now the thymoquinone. that thing clinically, scientifically, can cure every disease. Most of the diseases.
Okay.
And I will quote Prophet Muhammad saying that black seeds cures every disease except death. The wisdom in that is, as a human being, God has given you knowledge. There's gold and diamond in the mountains and in the earth. But they're not just on top of the earth like that for you to collect.
True.
You have to use your knowledge. You have to use your skills. You have to use your experience to get it. After so many years of research, Thymoquinone does wonders. If you Google Thymoquinone, you'll agree with the Prophet ﷺ that literally Thymoquinone is antihypertensive, it's anti-diabetic, it's anti-cancer, it's anti-inflammatory, it's anti-allergenic, it is hepatoprotective, protecting the liver, it is nephroprotective, protecting the kidneys. So, you mentioned, so the other plants also, active ingredients, combined with Thymoquinone, that's now a wonder combination.
Okay.
But these have not been chemically synthesized.
So let me understand. Thymoquinone is the primary ingredient for Cr7.
The backbone.
The back.
Out of the 7,
Okay.
that is the command.
Okay.
That is the command central core of this wonder herbal medicine called Cr7.
Okay. So what are the other 6?
The other 6, we have the anthocyanins. We have the phytosterols. We have the guaiols. We have the cineols. We have the quercetin. All are obtained, again, from plants, herbs, that are consumed by people for health benefits.
Prof, this just 6 that you mentioned, you know, you explained the Thymoquinone so well that we could get at least what you're talking about. Do they have other words? For example, these other 6.
No, for example,
Yeah.
for example, I'll tell you, the Asians, for immune boosting,
Yeah.
they use the roots of the plant called ginseng.
Okay.
Ginseng is good for health and vitality, health. We have taken the ginseng, it's called the Korean ginseng roots, and the American ginseng.
Okay.
If you take the American ginseng, eventually 5 kilograms will going to yield again something like a very small amount of ginsenosides. Now these ginsenosides are part of the active ingredients. For example, I'm just telling you. All the same, the active ingredient of these plants acts on the human body in a way that you cannot be able to imagine. For example, you know cinnamon?
Cinnamon, yeah.
We use cinnamon. It has massive health benefits. But isolating the cinnamaldehyde, the active ingredient, is not easy. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
So, you know clove?
No, I don't know.
Well,
Cloves, the spices.
Yes.
Yes, I know cloves, yeah.
Scientifically now, isolating the active ingredient in clove is also very difficult, just like the Thymoquinone.
Okay.
You know garlic?
Garlic, I know garlic.
Garlic is also very good. But getting the active ingredients of garlic scientifically is again very difficult, tiring. It takes so many research. So the active ingredient is called allicin. So allicin is also part of the components of the Cr7.
My interest is on the 6.
So the reason why, I'm already telling you, I've already mentioned to you allicin.
Yeah.
I've already mentioned to you, the curcumins, the curcuminoids from the turmeric.
Yeah.
You know turmeric?
Yeah, I know turmeric.
If you now take the roots, turmeric is root. We normally add to our food.
Yes.
Is it poisonous? Is garlic poisonous?
No.
Is the black seed poisonous?
No.
These things now, the active ingredient is what has taken millions of dollars of research in various labs to get these active ingredients. And these active ingredients are not only so health-wise beneficial, but expensive to venture into research. And isolating requires high technology and a collaborative research of various scientists. Not an individual can be able to do it. So what the Cr7 is made up of, something that we normally use, and their active ingredients. I've not brought anything new. I've only concentrated for you.
Wow. Wow.
I've only invested so much of time, research fund, to get the beneficial aspects, following the guide of the Prophet ﷺ that black seed is cured. It's true, black seed is cured, but there is more to black seeds. And that is, put your mind, put your efforts, get the gold and the diamond, break that mountain, get it out.
Dig that.
Dig it. It has come at a time when the world needs it. And that's not something easy.
Prof, let me ask this. What motivated you? Like, when exactly did you discover that, you know what, it's time to go into this? Because right now we are talking about barely 1 year, you know, since COVID hit Kenya, right? But COVID hitting the world, we are talking about a number of months past. You know, it started in other countries since 2019. But Kenya, to be precise, March 2020 is when COVID hit the country. So when exactly did you sit down and think about coming up with Cr7? Because it's COVID remedy. So from a layman's perspective, I want to assume that it's meant to be curative towards COVID-19 virus, to boost our immunity, to fight the COVID virus, correct? So what exactly did you see and think about that?
You know, they normally say, you know, first of all, let me say, His Excellency the President of Kenya and the good officials of the ministry, headed by His Excellency Mutai Kagwe. I've seen how tired they are in trying to educate Kenyans the impact this virus will have on them if they are not very careful. It is upon the responsibility of Kenyans to come up with a solution. That was the challenge. The challenge was Kenyan scientists to come up with a solution. When there's a crisis, there has to be action. One has to be action-oriented. Talks will not help. The good thing is that someone who was a collaborative research in one or the other way, and a Kenyan to the advantage, is that our government has given enough time for the Kenyan scientists to respond. Before the virus hits Kenya, there's a small clip, both in English and Somali, that I've given, and I've told the people, prevent yourself, follow the government guidelines, stay indoors. But meanwhile, if you're hit, use the raw material I've just told you. So I was in the process of getting the active ingredients. Then some were available, others were not available. But the necessity is the mother of invention.
True.
If you are attacked by an enemy, once, twice, thrice, then the fourth time you'll be in a better position to fight it. So it's good that we did not become the first target of the COVID crisis. And as a scientist, as a Kenyan, as a learned person, both my students who have graduated for their PhDs and who are currently doing, my other scientists that have collaborated with me will agree with me that there's no better idea than coming up with immune boosters with that strong medicinal value at a time like this.
Interesting. You mentioned that when an enemy hits you once, twice, thrice, you will be in a better position when he comes the fourth time. You've also mentioned, I'm just picking keywords from your answer. You've also mentioned about you released a video prior to hit by this COVID, like immense hit by the COVID. So I would want to know, and I'm sure the viewers as well back at home would want to know, did you have prior knowledge, right, about this virus and the coronavirus, right? But again, all these and much more, Prof, if you don't mind, I want you to just process this and think about this, because I want you to this to be the first answer you give us after this break, right? Prof, we're just going to have a very short break. Please don't you go away. I'm sure you also want to know, right? Because in our brief research, we found out that Prof is a visiting professor at a university in Wuhan, right? So did that in any way inculcate into his experience, right, and background knowledge about this virus that maybe the rest of us Kenyans and Africans at large didn't know? That's what I want to know. I don't know about you. So stick it to Horizon TV, keep it locked, and we're going to get back in a few to get more answers from Professor Mohamed Abdille.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome. Thank you so much for keeping it live real talk right here in Nakuru County 032. When we are talking about Cr7, that is COVID remedy with the 7 wonders, I'm talking to Professor Mohamed Abdille, who is the brains behind Cr7. Now, I know before the break I mentioned something, the main motive behind it, what exactly might have contributed to him coming up with that Cr7. But before that, just a number of tweets. One from the famous Mohamed Abdille, a colleague of mine in the industry, says, this is COVID remedy, in brackets Cr7. It is a very strong immune booster that has helped many with COVID-19. I can attest that it has been very vital in my recovery from COVID-19. Very essential medicine by a Kenyan scientist. Eric Nyamwaro says, time to celebrate and recognize our trailblazers in science and inventions. We salute you, Professor Mohamed Abdille, for your invention, Cr7, that is a complete antiviral remedy against COVID-19 and other ailments. We can't thank you enough, from the research to invention to commercialization, the full cycle. Prof, a number of people coming out to endorse you, so that means Cr7 is out in circulation. But before we get to that point, Prof, I had asked a question about the main motive behind it. You are a scientist, an astute scientist for that matter, and being a lecturer of virology for the longest time, Prof. So might that have contributed, that prior knowledge to your immense knowledge on matters virus, might that have contributed to you coming up with this remedy, the Cr7?
Thank you very much. It's a very good question. When you've been teaching clinical virology for so many years, then definitely you'll have all the viruses at your fingertips.
Okay.
And the coronavirus is a relative of the SARS, is also part of the SARS-CoV.
Yeah.
So, you remember the H1N1?
Yeah.
It was one time the bird flu, then we have the swine flu,
yeah.
then the human flu.
True.
The coronavirus, before it becomes so dangerous, we know it. We know its genetic makeup. And the last time that the world has experienced a flu of this kind was 1918, where it has killed many people, more than it is today. So the coronavirus, other than the prior knowledge as a professor, teaching that our collaborative research, we always do collaborative research on all pathogens, the deadly ones. So Wuhan Institute of Virology is one of the institutes that has handled the virus very well, with the support of the Chinese government. And Wuhan Institute of Virology is part of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Our collaborative research with the Chinese Academy of Sciences dates back to so many years, quite a number of years. Surprisingly, Wuhan Institute of Virology is one of the institutes that we visit for collaborative research, in my own capacity as a scientist. And remember, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the scientists there, have handled the virus very well and have advised their government very well on matters regarding the containment of the virus.
Yeah.
So knowing the virus from many angles is very, very important. But no one has ever imagined, I myself as Professor Abdille, that this virus will have such a magnitude of impact, of negative impact in our world, to an extent that some economies are almost collapsing.
Sure.
And experience is always the best. There's always a reason why the Almighty God gives you knowledge. And it's always good to use what God has given you positively. Because we are all human beings. And Ali radiallahu anhu, one of the caliphs of Islam, when he sent one of his governors to Egypt, he told the people, he told him, remember, my representative There are two types of people in this world. It's either your brother in faith or your brother in humanity. So I believe, from humanity point of view, using my knowledge to save our people, to save our country, to save our continent, to save our world from this crisis, it can't come a better time than this. You have seen, I hope you have seen the Twitter by the chairman of the Kenya diaspora, who says that we know these things, the professors collaborative research in various and they have supported me. Not only in this aspect, but in many other aspects. Because the Kenyans in diaspora are very much concerned for their country, which is our country, that we love so much. And they have been very supportive to me, because I'm a very patriotic citizen, and who love this country and this government, to make sure that we solve our crisis before we let others solve it for us. Because it's who is wearing the shoes that knows where it pinches hard.
True.
Yes.
Prof, that's an amazing spirit, and may Allah bless you for that. Now, this Cr7, right, that has been developed to fight this deadly virus, the coronavirus, how far have you gone with it in terms of getting its accreditation from the government agencies, right, and getting it spread to address this ongoing pandemic? Because, Doc, as we are speaking right now, hundreds of people are yearning for spaces in the ICU, right? But the ICU are full, the ventilators nowhere to be found. People are suffering. Hundreds of people are losing their lives. Prof, for as far as accreditation and validation from the government agencies is concerned with this particular immune booster, how far have you gone, right?
That is a very important question. First of all, it's true. The entire world is suffering. But we can only be responsible for our country. Our government did its part, and as citizens, we are obliged to obey our leadership, our government, the national government and the county government, our health experts. Allah bless all of them, they have done their part. The fact that our people are living today in hospitals, and the major hospitals are overwhelmed by patients of COVID. It's something, is a reality. We can no longer deny it and bury our heads. One more thing is that those hospitals also cannot give things for free, because they have to supply the need, the medical facilities, the doctors who are working tirelessly every night, every day, to save lives. Whether it's a government hospital or whether it's a private hospital, the crisis is a result of trying to help save lives. And medically, before anything else, first thing is save lives. So, fortunately or unfortunately, because of the economic breakdown, many Kenyans cannot be able to afford that very essential medical service offered at hospitals at this particular time of our lives. You asked the Cr7 accreditation. Cr7 is an immune booster. It's not something that, if it's misused, that will kill someone. It is not a chemical or a chemically synthesized drug. If black seeds can kill, then Cr7 will kill. So we use black seeds as kalonji. It's in our foods. Does it kill? Is it harmful? No.
Not any that I've had.
So the farmers and the poison board have issued the license. It's called borderline product. That means partly medicinal, partly food. Very simple. And that is it. So they are the ones who normally deal with things that to be given to the people. That's why it's part of the cells. Actually, Cr7 is part of the general cells product. And it's not a prescription drug. That means anybody can take it. Put into your hot water, into your tea, into your porridge, and you instantly get cured.
Good.
Either of the virus symptoms, or you are prevented.
Thank you. Very good statement that you've mentioned there, and you've just preempted my next question. Now, this Cr7 Immune Booster, is it preventive or curative or both?
Well, the reason why it's preventive, and the same reason why it's curative, I'll tell you. When you give someone who does not have the virus, Cr7, for example, you'll feel well-being after 12 hours. What you're experiencing is that your immune system is set on. You keep on using 48 hours, according to the prescription I've written there, or according to the guidance I've written there, you'll feel very good. If you have any symptoms of any ailments as a result of immune weakness, you're going to feel well. It will be cleared. What it's doing to your body is that it's only eliciting your white cells, the defense mechanism of your own body, or of our own body, and telling it, clear, stand up, arm yourself, help aid our immune system. That's why it's an immune booster. Now, part of the ingredients, like the Thymoquinone, is anti-inflammatory. It's like a painkiller. Like the sineals, it's also antispasmodic. Someone with COVID, the moment he takes it, other than boosting the immune system, the other ingredients will also collaborate and form a synergistic positive effects by helping the lungs, by relieving the pains. And that's why you have seen more than 300 people coming out who are COVID patients, saying that immediately I took Cr7, my oxygen level came back to normal. Immediately I took Cr7, all the joint pains cleared. Immediately I took Cr7, I'm feeling far much better. And I'm happy. I'm happy that all these Kenyans from all walks of life came to appreciate and say that Cr7, for now it remains as an immune booster, but it can stay with everybody and anybody for as long as one wants it, without any side effects.
Good. Thanks so much for clearing that up. Prof, 2 weeks back when I was interviewing Dr. Ahmed Kalebi and Professor Mohamed Karama on HorizonTV, and we were discussing about 1 year anniversary of COVID in Kenya. And this clip is going to play right there, Dr. Ahmed Kalebi saying that, and even Professor Mohamed Karama reiterated and agreed with the fact that right now at least 50 to 60% of Kenyans have already contracted the virus, right? A number of them have fought the virus. Their antibodies have fought the virus. So if Cr7 is meant for COVID, and we've had 50 to 60% of our population getting the virus, and they've managed to fight the virus, so why do we need Cr7, Doc?
Dr. Ahmed Kalebi, in one of your interviews with the national media outfit, you say that 40 to 50% have been affected, yet from the figures tally that we are getting stands at 111,935. Doc, out of possibly 50 million Kenyans, what guided these numbers, or what guided these facts that you're saying 40 to 50% of Kenyans already contacted this virus? Dr.
So basically, what we're talking about is what we call surveillance. When people get infected by the virus, they get what we call an antibody response. In other words, they develop antibodies because of the natural infection. And we are able to test for those antibodies to determine whether that person has actually had the virus and has immunity. So what happened is the National Blood Transfusion Services, from the people who donate blood, they looked at the blood donors and tried to determine how many of them had the virus. By around July, it was about 20%. And by August, September, it was about 40%. Now, for us in the lab, we get quite a number of people who come and want to test whether they had coronavirus in the past. So we do for them antibody tests. And what we have found is about 40 to 50% of people, when we test them, for example, from different companies or different groups, they actually have the virus.
It's a very important question. Both names, Dr. Ahmed Kalebi and Professor Karama, are respected individuals among our communities and our society. Professor Karama is my former colleague. Both of us were at Cambridge. And he's also a Cambridge scientist, though not in the infectious disease aspect. But he's a very learned person. Dr. Kalebi, I think just the way you have read the way you have quoted him, is also an authority in that aspect. And I respect their opinions, which is quite good.
Yeah.
You also said that 60% of the Kenyans are affected.
They have been affected.
They have been affected.
They have been affected. Some of them already recovered, a number of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when the COVID virus affects the people, I've told you, depending on the immune status of the person or the strength of the immune system, then that's how one will match the virus. The virus will not do anybody a favor. It will fight all of us the same way. But how our immune response is what makes the difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the better the immune system of the person, the stronger the battle it can be with the virus and defeat it. The people that have contracted the virus, the elderly, and those with the underlying conditions, are the ones that the virus had a very severe negative impact, either death or post-COVID health crisis, the way you have seen with the text by a very senior person who said that I have contracted the virus some times back and developed complications.
Yeah.
And you can read. And that person what that person said, that other than the complications, the virus has left a lot of problems to me. So these are the testimonies, and you can read, and you can even call the person.
Hello, this medicine is very powerful. For the first time in a long period, I have felt well, like I was not even sick. Thanks so much. Also today, I was able to take a walk, and I didn't feel any pain or weakness. I'd like to add 2 or more soon, and I will order more than 10 so that everyone in the family can take. You are a blessing to many lives.
Now, this is called post-COVID crisis now. Those who have gotten the virus and have recovered are of 2 types. Those whose immune system is very strong. They got the virus like a normal flu, a little bit down with it, some pain, joint pain, and there are those that have fought with the virus and have survived, and it has left a crisis. Joint pains. Some of them could not be able to walk, as that person said. You have his number, you can call him online. And there are many of them like that. So what Cr7 is doing, whether one has contracted the virus or not, is again to alert your immune system, strengthening the immune system. Remember, when one gets COVID, for that information, most of the viral infections, it will kill the immune system. It will fight the immune system. Even if you recover, the immune system will still be low. It will be weak. Boosting your immune system is very important. What kills most of the people sometimes, other than the virus, is what's called as pulmonary infections or the lung infections. My postdoctorate at the University of Basel was LOBA, TB, and pneumonia. When we say LOBA, we are referring to the lungs. So, what killed the person after the immune system is very weak? It's called secondary bacterial infections, pulmonary bacterial infections. And that's why, after someone has been helped to clear the bacteria or to support the system, we use azithromycin. It's an antibacterial. It helps a lot. So Cr7, whether one has the virus or one does not have the virus, whether one is young or whether one is old, it's an essential commodity, a natural component, a supplement that has done wonders. And we have to be grateful to the Almighty God for that direction. Wow. I'm only one person. It's only with the permission of Allah that you can be able to get something like this. And being a former research scientist at Cambridge, and today being still a research scientist, I will not hide the joy I get when I see patients being helped by Cr7, regardless of where they came from, regardless of their age, regardless of their religion. Charity begins at home. This is Kenya. And I appreciate. I'll tell you, part of the component of Cr7 is what some of the Asian countries are using for the treatment of their people. That's their own secret.
Really? And you know the secret now?
That is their own secret.
And you know the secret now?
Now the secret is,
Yeah.
before someone dies,
Yes.
you must leave something behind.
Okay.
If I die today, other than allowing my Muslim brothers to remain as strong in their faith, I will still encourage them that let them use Cr7 and they'll feel better and they'll feel good. It is their product. Alhamdulillah.
Doc, you've mentioned about some of the components that have been used to come up with Cr7 as some more the Asian world are using for their curative to cure some of the diseases. So over and above COVID, right, what else can Cr7 treat or cure? Like the way it is, the mixture, the composition of Cr7.
Well, you know, something like Cr7 is something like the big companies today would like to get their hands on.
Okay.
Fortunately or unfortunately, it's my product. I'm not going to let that be taken so that again it will be misused, both its ingredients. Because now, you know, one time while I was in Cambridge, I had a fellowship by groups called DNDI. It's called Drugs for Neglected Disease Initiatives. So the neglected disease initiatives, if you ask yourself, who has neglected who? It's the Western world that has neglected the underdeveloped world. Because all the diseases that affect the Western world, they've got the remedy for themselves even if they use chemicals. The diseases affecting the third world countries have no remedies. And if they have remedies, it's the Western remedies. And bringing in the Western remedies to us, it's at a cost, both as a government and also as a people. The burdensome is very huge. So it's good to know what you don't know. And what you don't know is that our people need something that belongs to them, easily accessible, that does wonders. I've talked about the central command ingredient of the Cr7 as Thymoquinone. If you Google Thymoquinone, you'll agree with the Prophet ﷺ that Thymoquinone cures diabetes. And diabetes normally as a result of either lack of insulin or insufficient insulins made by the beta isolate of the Langhans in the pancreas. And Thymoquinone helps in the rejuvenation of those cells if they are alive and produce more insulins. So someone who's a diabetic needs insulin. Instead of using the artificial insulin, your cells are activated and you get your natural insulin. You don't know the other way after prolonged use of Thymoquinone. If you again Google Thymoquinone hypertension, hypertension kills many people. It's the #1 cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease means the disease of the heart. Thymoquinone works very well in reducing blood pressure. You can Google on your own and get the facts. Okay. Thymoquinone is an anti-cancer. And you'll be surprised. It is the #1 anti-cancer agent present again and obtained from black seeds. You mentioned it. You'll agree with the Prophet ﷺ that black seeds cures every disease except death.
Wow.
You talk about anti-inflammatory power, the pain-killing power, the immune boosting power, and you love it. Similar, all other ingredients working in one or the other way.
Wow, 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 wow. So if I take Cr7 and its composition the way it is, then I'm likely to be cured of any of those diseases that you just mentioned.
You know, there's a difference between cured. You know, one thing is that Thymoquinone cures all those diseases,
yeah,
but not instantly.
Okay. It's process.
Since it's a natural product, it's not a chemical.
Okay.
It has to join and work with your immune system and your body slowly. And they normally say, you know, the chemical components of the drug from the Western countries acts immediately. But they leave a side effect.
Okay.
But still the Western medicine, we have the life-saving medicines. I'm not disowning it. Only that I'm saying ingredients obtained from safe herbs are very good. So if someone is using a diabetic medicine and takes Cr7, Professor Abdille, professor from School of Medicine, Egerton University, is not saying stop your anti-diabetic medicine, no, or your antihypertensive medicine, no. You can concurrently use, but you'll see the effect. So in the long run, someone might reduce the dosage because you can use this medicine for as long as you want.
Get it. I mean, see, before we started the interview, Prof told me one thing, that real knowledge humbles you. And in all this interview, I've been in class. You can recall when we started the interview, I was all eye and hyper, you know, just like I'm always am. But as the interview goes on and on and on, you just get to immerse in this wealth of knowledge and experience that I'm currently sitting next to. Jazakallah khair, Professor. Thank you so much for the knowledge.
Barakallahu fikum.
Ahsanallah ilayk. Thank you so much for making time. Thanks so much for inviting us over. Thanks so much for accepting to be at the live Real Talk. Thank you for hosting.
And my prayers is that may the Almighty Allah, with all His powers, His 99 names, cure everyone of every ailment they are suffering from.
Amen.
First, may the Almighty Allah protect the world from this crisis and any other future crisis.
Amen.
May the Almighty Allah guide us back to the straight path. صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم خير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين.
Thank you, Doc, for your du'as. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you so much for your wealth of experience and knowledge that you just not shared with me, but our interviewers back at home. So, the information that has just been shared, right? It's amazing. Wealth of experience, wealth of knowledge.
And people can contact me.
How do they reach you? That was going to be my last question to you, Prof. How do they reach you?
I'll just give you my mobile number.
Okay.
And I will prefer WhatsApp text or message,
Okay.
preferably. If I'm overwhelmed, I leave to Horizon TV to handle the crisis and make a kind of a diary.
Yes, yeah.
And I will train you yourself
Yes.
on Cr7
Uh-huh.
and other health aspects of other importance medicines that are vital for our people, not only at this time,
Yes.
but for many other things.
Inshallah.
And they say charity helps a lot.
True.
And we need to help our people
True.
a lot. So my number is
Yeah.
07
07
22 91 61 46.
Would you mind just repeating that again? I'm sure it's going to run on the screen down there. Just repeat that again. 07
07
Yeah.
22
Uh-huh.
91
91
61 46.
That's how you can reach your social media handles, maybe? How did they reach you?
At Professor Abdille,
Prof. Abdille, that's on Twitter?
Twitter.
Yeah.
Professor Mohamed Abdille at Facebook.
Okay.
Abdille, MH, ABDI,
Okay.
LLE, MH, all together at gmail.com.
Okay. We're gonna have all that running on our screens. You're gonna see that down there, all the contact details that you can reach Professor Mohamed Hussein Abdille and ask any questions that you have and how you can get yourself CR7. Right, Prof? Thank you so much. And this is how we are calling it a wrap right here from County
I was appealing.
032.
I was appealing.
Sir.
You know, Ramadan is coming.
Yes, Ramadan.
It is a very important month. The production of CR7 is not by a company, or is not by a government, or is not by an NGO.
Yes.
It's by myself. I'm appealing that CR7 reaches the common person. During this month of Ramadan, as a charity, but I'm not funded for the production of and making of CR7. So people said the cost of CR7 now in the market, which 7,000, is a bit high. The only way the cost of production of CR7 can come down is if we get a support, a collective support, a basket
Yeah.
for the Muslims
Yes.
in the month of Ramadan. Just the way we are giving the dates and the food to the poor, which is a very good charity. And may Allah bless those who have been doing that.
Amen.
And may Allah bless more
Amen.
those who are also intending to do it.
Amen.
And may Allah bless those who do not have but would like to do it.
Amen.
If people can come together and let us make CR7 reach our people in the month of Ramadan, because this Ramadan is not a normal Ramadan. It's a Ramadan where again the people cannot be able to come together in the mosques for iftar. Our Muslim Ummah, we're very generous people. And part of the generosity is sharing the little we have. But because of the COVID restrictions, we may not be able to come together in the mosques and gather and share iftar. So we'll be forced to distribute the little food items in a center and be taking them to homesteads or households, which is very essential. So if CR7 now is 7,000 at retail, if people come together I'm sure it will come to nearly half of that. We must produce it with my own hands in a very quality manner, hygienically, and give to our people. Barakallahu fikum.
Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. And of course, we're going to share your numbers as well on that, inshallah, for anyone who would want to reach you and share his or her support in production of the Cr7, the immune booster, inshallah. And then we can together hold hands and move this journey together and see how we can alleviate this pandemic from our people, because we are suffering, correct, Professor? Not just with this pandemic, but with all lifestyle diseases, especially the Muslim community. Talk of hypertension, talk of diabetes, talk of recently cancer, talk of kidney issues. You know, these are problems that are affecting our people. Lifestyle diseases, doc. Yeah, so inshallah, going to share your contacts, inshallah, for all those who are interested, and they can reach out to you, inshallah. We're going to share with our contacts as well, right? They can reach out to you, and then we see how we can help our community.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much, Professor.
Barakallahu fikum.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah.
That's how we're calling it a wrap right here on Live Real Talk, HorizonTV. It's another Friday, and as Professor said, Ramadan is few days away. Allahumma ballighna Ramadan.
Ameen ya Allah.
Jazakumullah khair. Thanks so much for keeping us company. I've been your host, Faisal, Kassim, right here from Nakuru. See you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa